Pledge for Peace will be made by Ms. Miyako Jodai, representative of the atomic bomb survivors. Pledge for Peace. The endless ringing of precautionary warnings and air raid sirens began mid-June in 1945. I was 6 years old at the time, and I couldn't sleep without the reassurance that my air raid hood was beside me. That evil siren rang just as I had slowly awoken on the morning of the 9th of August. With my grandmother's tense voice calling, "It's the air raid siren! Today we must get to the mountains," we made our way to the air raid shelters in Tateyamamachi. They were directly behind where the Nagasaki Junior High School now stands, midway up Mount Kompira and 2.5 kilometers from the hypocenter. However, the enemy planes didn't come. A voice cried, "All clear!" And many people and children dashed out from the shelters whilst they still could. But at that moment, the B-29 bomber, which was carrying the atomic bomb, had infiltrated Nagasaki airspace. I had just returned home from the air raid shelter. My next-door neighbor, Tommy, yelled from outside, "Mia, let's go play." In that instant, there was a flash in the sky. I have no recollection of anything after that, what had happened or what had happened to me. A while later, I was rescued out from beneath our floorboards. Tommy, who had called to me from outside, was not injured. However, she suddenly passed away after having become a mother. In a single blast, humans stopped being humans. Even if they could somehow survive, many atomic bomb survivors, or hibakusha, lost their lives when symptoms of radiation disease suddenly appeared later on. I was fine, however. I lost my little granddaughter, a third-generation hibakusha. I couldn't help but sorrowfully agonize over whether she would still be alive if I myself had not been a hibakusha. Humans are powerless against the fearsome invisible radiation which was brought by the atomic bomb. Now, I am determined that we must eliminate these inhumane nuclear weapons from the face of the earth as soon as possible. In order for us to achieve this, the speedy realization of a nuclear weapons convention is essential. Japan, the only country to have suffered a nuclear bombing, has a duty to be a world leader and to stand at the forefront of this abolition movement. However, is the government of Japan fulfilling that role? Doesn't the approval of collective self-defense say that the use of military force will create peace for Japanese nationals? Japan will be able to engage in war. Will it protect Japan from armed attack? And the production of weapons and exporting weapons will be the beginning of the war. War begets war. History proves that. Please, do not threaten our young people and children who will shoulder Japan's future. Please guarantee peace. Please do not forget the suffering of the hibakusha and pretend that the atomic bomb never happened. In Fukushima, there are those who still cannot return home due to radioactive contamination from the nuclear accident. They have no choice but to live in temporary housing or to evacuate elsewhere. There are children and their families who are suffering because they have been told that their child has thyroid carcinoma. Under these circumstances, is it really acceptable that we restart the operation of nuclear power plants? After all, we still do not know how to dispose of nuclear wastes. Instead, we should be looking into decommissioning the nuclear reactors as quickly as possible. As survivors, we Hibakusha are using what remaining time we have left to desperately pass on our experiences of exposure to nuclear weapons. Even first-year elementary school children and nursery school children listen carefully to what we have to say. We speak from the bottom of our hearts with the reasoning that we must not send these children to the battlefield or involve them in the horrors of war. Citizens of Nagasaki, nay, people of the world, please draw close to the hearts of the Hibakusha and pass on the truth of exposure to nuclear weapons so that we never again repeat such foolish actions. Let us together seek true peace for Japan. As a Hibakusha, I make a pledge for peace that as long as I have strength, I shall continue to pass on my experience of exposure to the atomic bomb. Miyako Jodai, Atomic Bomb Survivor Representative, August 9, 2014.